He plays video games all day, and his wife is fed up.
Hey, what's up? Today I'm going to be doing a high gold, low plat VOD review. I'm doing it for Mr. X/VocalMoons. He posted on the OverwatchUniversity subreddit. Thank you very much for letting me review your VOD. I appreciate it. So he's playing Anna on Voskaya this game. He sent me a couple, but that's what I'm going to be doing because I like Anna. So he said one of his biggest strengths as a player is making comms and stuff, which is great. That's key as a support. Unfortunately, we don't get to see that because it's in the Overwatch replay viewer, but it's good that you're focusing on that. He said, while glancing over the replays, he said, with Ana, he defaults to hip firing close up, and he's not sure what to do or on autopilot. He's trying hard to be planning his position and thinking about enemy ults, but he sees himself hip firing and heal botting quite a bit. This is my second time trying to record this, so I have seen what he's been doing. I don't think he's heal botting a lot. I think he's providing some utility for sure, but we'll get into that. So let's just get right into it. Boom. His team plays Ryan, Zarya, Kree Soldier, at least for the majority of round 1, and Mercy. Solid comp. Soldier Kree can hold angles as much as they want, especially with the Mercy. Soldier can hold whatever he wants, but Kree, he has no movement, but Mercy can help with that. Ryan, Zarya, really good for first point Volskaya. One thing I want to talk about first is, actually no, I'll just wait till we get to that point to talk about it. But he ends up holding this choke right here, which is, I hold this most often. A lot of Annas, I notice, tend to hold up a little closer, which is, it seems like a good spot because the enemy can't see you, so you have 0 risk versus the reward of healing your teammates, but you also can't see the enemy, and you can't provide your utility. And you also, when you have to move, you have to rotate the slow 8 or risk dying, so I prefer this spot. They also have no snipers, so it's fine. I try to, at the beginning, I would hold a little further back, closer to the Mega, where the snipers can't see you, just in case they do have snipers and they're good. Just be on the lookout for that. You need to play for your life. But once you see that, they don't have snipers. They only have Hanzo, and he plays up on top, so he can't see you from the spot that you're holding. Then you'd be fine. But you want to be on the lookout for that. All right. Yeah, you end up being scoped in. What you could have been doing is quick scoping your Rhine, because he really wasn't that low. You could have been quick scoping him, or hip firing. One thing I think you should fight a sense and a DPI that you're comfortable with. You do seem to overcompensate and undercompensate, especially in toggle scope, but also in hip firing. I would find one that you're really comfortable with and get really good with that sensitivity. I play on a very low sensitivity in DPI. I play at 600 DPI, and I think 5 cents or maybe 3. A lot of supports do play pretty low, except for ML7. But playing on a low sensitivity could help you, just because there are a couple shots you could hit that you didn't hit that you could be hitting. But you do also burn nade and sleep on that Genji in the window, which I would try to be conservative with your early game sleeps, just because you're not sure how good their Genji is. Because if he's good, you'll want to be saving those sleeps and be conservative with them. But if he's not good, you can burn them on when Ryan's doing weird stuff, or on Genji in the window to potentially get a pick. But I would say wait in the beginning, just so you can gauge how good their flankers are, if they have flankers. And you burn nade, which there is a common theme I noticed thus far, which is you don't really seem to understand the arc of the grenade. So I would just load up in between games and stuff. Load up a custom game. The code I use it's Cave5, KAVE5. I think it's pretty good for Anna. Just practice the arc of the nade, so you can get an understanding of it, because it seems like you underthrow most of your grenades. But really wasn't too much of a point there with the nade. Your Rhine is low, so I think it was for that, but that's fine. I mean, there's not really any way to get a big purple right now. They're not playing very close, but yeah, you're just topping people off right now, which is fine. And then you end up killing this Hanzo, so that's really good play. You notice that your tanks, they don't keep needing topped off, so you shut the Hanzo. Great play. You got a pick versus maybe healing your Ryan for 50 HP or something like that. So really great play. Really smart to be aggressive with your shots. If you don't need to heal, don't heal. You're not a healer. You're a support, and you can support your team by killing people. The fastest way to heal people is by killing the people damaging them. So that was a good play. Getting close to nanos is good. Soldier didn't want heals. You call out here that Zarya used her barriers. The Ryan, yeah, I've seen this twice. Yeah, the Ryan ends up making the weirdest charge. He gets naded and he charged him. In high-low, you wouldn't expect this, but when you're in gold, expect them to do crazy stuff like this. So, I mean, if you weren't scoped in, I think you were. You probably could have seen that coming. But really, even if that Ryan would have killed you, I doubt their team would have won that fight. But just be on the lookout for weird shit like that in gold. And you also didn't panic nano, which is good. A lot of Anas would have, and lower elos would have panic nanoed, even though your team was up at that point. Yeah, you guys are up 2 right now. This is good. You know, really the only thing I would be doing right now is you don't need ult. Your Mercy seems to be wanting to heal beam, which is not how you want to play Mercy. You want to be damage boosting. She is primarily a utility hero. But since she's healing, you may as well just be being aggressive right now, just because neither of you needs ult, or she needs ult, but you don't need ult. So there's really no point in you healing besides your teammates not dying. You nano the Ryan to int, which is fine. I gotta pause. There's a lot to talk about here. You nano your Ryan in to int, which is good. You could have waited maybe till he was lower, but he was playing on the right, I saw, so that was probably the only time you had to nano him. So smart nano. You're letting your Ryan be aggressive. There's Arya grabs. So I'm not going to go back because I have seen this before. Your Zarya gets grabbed right here, and then she panic grabs and then dies immediately after, which there's no point in me critiquing their Zarya. But, you know. But if you're Zarya, grab earlier in the fight so that you don't end up in that situation. But at this point, your Ryan is nanoed, you're down 1. So what you could have done, instead of throwing your nade in that, just having it land here and do nothing, you could have, just aimed it higher. But if we want to talk about what to do, you can think about the nade a little bit. Your Ryan's swinging, he's not low. So you can take a moment, especially now that their snipers aren't going to be thinking about you at the moment, you could move a little bit to the right and just watch what their Ryan's doing. Because he's shielding your Ryan right now for no reason. You could have just tossed a nade right in here, but if you find it too difficult to hit a nade like that, just like in basketball, instead of going for a net, it's way easier to hit it off the backboard. Use geometry to your advantage. You could have thrown the nade right here, aim for back here, or even just low. Anything. Any nade here probably would have gotten someone purple, or at least all of them purple, I would say. And your Ryan probably would have killed, at the very least, the Hanzo, and probably the tanks, depending on if the Zarya had barriers. But definitely start putting more thought. I would say your weakest area right now is your nades. I think you know not to heal bot, and you know your value as utility, not just healing. But you could get even more utility if you start thinking more about your nades. I'll continue. Alright, your soldier attack visors. You also, this fight could have been saved if instead of rotating around the way you went, you could have rotated backwards. I would play until the fight is over. I mean, you guys are going to get fast spawns if you lose point, unless you have a contest team like a Ball or something, a Winston, where you guys could contest long enough to group. Just play like the fight is still going. If you would have rotated backwards near the Mega, you could have been healing your Ryan, and you could have slept their Ryan right as he was getting out of charge. And you guys probably could have made a play off of that. I'm not saying you would have won or like you threw the whole fight, but start thinking about what you can do to turn these L's into W's. But yeah, Ryan shatters. Whatever. But yeah, you guys end up losing the fight here. I'll skip a little bit ahead.
I'm not ready to hang it up.
I think you end up playing top here, which I do not think is a good idea. I'll talk about it as you get up there. Your team does stagger. I think you lose your Ashe. Your soldier. Yeah, you don't have an Ashe. Yeah, you guys are down 1. So I think it's pretty important that... So you're going to go rotate top. So those are the 2 main areas to play. You can also play bottom here. I would recommend against playing it unless you're forced into playing it, just because their team can just walk around and shoot you. That's all there is to it. But I would recommend playing over here. Just checking. I forgot to set a timer. Sorry, my camera's a little weird. All right. But yeah, I would play in here just because with this, you can be always healing your tanks. There's 0 risk here unless they flank. But there's 0 risk here versus reward of you're always able to heal your tanks. And then if you need to, you can peek out, throw a nade, be aggressive. But this is a great spot to play down here. Or if you really want to play high ground, play it up here. I mean, this is a really great spot too. You have even more. You could easily hit a grenade off this geometry. But you end up going up here, which I'll let the game progress and you go up there while I talk about it. You end up going up here, which high ground's good. It's good to have high ground because you're making them aim on the X and Y axis versus just the X axes. But right now, since you're playing this high ground and they have, you just watched it happen. Since they have 2-hit scan, you just hit a purple, which is good. I didn't notice that the first time, but you made their Moira fade before the high noon. But when you're playing up here, you're number one. Whenever you want to heal, you're taking a calculated risk at that point. You're thinking, is it worth me peeking out to shoot my Zarya? Is it worth taking shots from Soldier? And then there's two things to think about at that point. At that point, you're lower on health, so it's even more risk to heal next time. And then if you do need to get healed, like your Mercy right now, she's healing you. Like that's the smart thing for her to do, is to keep her other support topped off. But instead of when she's healing you, she could be up here damage boosting Ryan and getting their team dead faster. Like they're down 2, so objectively it doesn't matter all that much right now. But think of you're taking resources from your team by playing up here versus down here. Well, high ground is a good choice. So up here would be great. Up here is great, especially because you have so many avenues. If you get jumped, you could jump here. You could go this way, stay high ground. But I wouldn't play up here. Poor position, I would say. But I mean, I guess it could be worse. You could be frontlining. Let's get back to it. I think I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit because I don't think anything really happens. Yeah, you're still scoped in quite a bit, which I mean it's okay right now. But if you were quick scoping right now, you could be more easily watching the top left. Because I do see their McCree goes up there later. Yeah, your Ryan shield's low right now, so he's gonna play back a bit. This is probably a good time to nano. Yep, you nanoed your Ryan. Yeah, that was a fine time to nano your Ryan, because they were committed to their push, at least somewhat committed to their push. You could have waited a little bit till they were a little more committed. But that's fine because your Ryan's shield was down and he needed to move anyways, rather be forward, killing people than backwards and potentially getting picked. So you nano him. You could throw, like, you have nano on your Ryan, so he's going to be aggressive. And their Ryan's probably going to hammer back. So you could, like, toss a nade in here where their Ryan's not looking, or toss a nade on this geometry, or right here. Like, I forget how you end up nading. I think you do. You do, yeah, you nade on your teammates. Which I'm not sure if maybe you were going for higher, but like I said, you just don't know the arc of the nade. But purple or anti is one of the strongest utilities in the game. They cannot be healed for 5 seconds, and at the very best, their Zarya has to waste one of her precious bubbles to just to cleanse the anti-heal. I still think you should rotate off of here, but plus they're off the Hanzo now, so they at least can't one-tap you. But you haven't. See, I don't remember if I can even see you press tab in the viewer, but if you haven't been pressing tab, you wouldn't even have known there's Hanzo swapped. Yeah, the McCree's high ground now, so he can just take pot shots at you. You guys are battling right now instead of you healing your team. And oh, see, that was a good nade. It didn't hit everyone, but that was a good nade. Look at that. Your soldier couldn't do anything for the last 5 seconds. All right, just hide. You could rotate left right now. All right, now you don't want to rotate. Yes. That was a good nade. You probably could have aimed a little closer to the geometry on the left so you could have hit your team and their team, but that's just tiny little things. I mean, if you guys are getting grabbed, and that was an unlucky 2 CP death. But if you guys are getting grabbed and, you know, you have a Mercy, which Mercy is meta right now, so there's not really anything you can do besides hopefully get enough heals on your team to keep them alive. You know, that's just little stuff. It was a good anti-nade for sure. Alright, you're in defense this time. Or on offense, sorry. What is it doing?
Never stop fighting for what you believe in.
20 seconds. Alright. Is the comp the same? You have an Ashe now. Alright, so your Mercy should be on her, but this is gold, so. Wow, you are lucky. That Widow was horrible. At the very best, you killed her. That was your best case scenario. You killed that Widow. But worst case scenario, she domes you. That was if it were me in that situation, I would have maybe taken a shot at the Widow and then called out, hey, Widow top right window, she's low, and then hit. Because if you are picked, that is pretty much an insta reset on choke on Volskaya. But If you see that Widow, I would not do what you just did. You are lucky that happened. You're lucky, number one, that Widow sucks, and number two, you can hit your shots while you're scoped. So let's continue this. You sleep the Torb up there. I would call out Torb sleeping. I'm sure you did. You're also a little out of position right now. You might die because of it. Yeah, you were out of position. You should have slept that Torb and stayed back. And even if you would have stayed back, you could have gotten in position to shoot him and throw a nade. That fight could have been won. You guys were up too. That I would say that you were a part of that fight being lost. Like, you weren't single-handedly the one that lost it, but if you were to have better positioning, you would have won that fight. Because that was a good sleep on the Torb. Oh, you guys are down a Kree. Where's the Widow? I don't know if they... I can't tell if they called it out or not. Yeah, rotate closer to the right. Like, there's no point to them being able to take shots at you. You're not really going to be able to hit anything aggressive all that well. I don't know what your Ryan's doing. You should be calling out for... Tell them you need to be calling out. Your team needs to commit. Your Ryan is just standing there. Like, it's okay to stand there, but at least stand in a position where they can't shoot at you. You guys are even right now, I believe. You're not doing anything right now. Yeah, since you're not doing anything, you could rotate left. Yeah, instead of being in this weird spot where their whole team can see you and push on you, you could have rotated left. And now you're going to die to a Lucio. How embarrassing. Hate to see it. But yeah, I would have rotated left there, for sure. That would have... I'm not saying that would have won the fight, but you would have been in a position to be putting less risk towards getting more value. Because I think you rotated right because your Ryan was critical, which if your Ryan overcommits like that, you don't need to overcommit just because he did. Now the Torb turret's going to be annoying. Yeah, I would just... Yeah, Mercy could heal you. You didn't have to waste that nade. But yeah, I would prioritize that turret right now. That turret. That way no one else has to. Alright. Yeah, that Moira's being dumb right now. Alright, your Ryan blocked the shatter. Their Moira... You should say, Moira used cooldowns. Focus Moira. She has nothing. This is good. That was a smart nano. You guys are up. You guys have pretty much won this fight. I like how fast you reacted. Yeah, Lucio's being dumb. It's not easy to hit weird Lucios like that. I try to quickscope Lucios. This is my third recording, so I don't remember if I talked about quickscopes, but I'm going to assume I did. And I told you how to quickscope. You should definitely be learning. You just did one. Why haven't you been doing that more? Quickscoping, you should be... I would say 30% of my shots are quickscope. I can't... Your type of shot should be dynamic. If you're playing with a Ryan Zarya and you're close to them, I would say 60% of your shots should be hip firing, with 20% being quickscopes, and the rest being sighted shots. You guys are even, but you're down a Ryan. This is going to be a hard fight to win. Unless you guys get a pick quick, I wouldn't... Okay, good. You're not committing to this fight. Yeah, it doesn't really matter how you use nade right now. I mean, you could use it. That was a close sleep. I like that you've noticed their team isn't jumping on you, so you're just using sleep to make plays against Ryan. But you could have thrown nade right here when the Ryan was pushed up, and at the least denied them 5 seconds of time for your Ryan to get back, and at the most, maybe your Ashe would have gotten a pick, and then you'd be set up to win this next fight when Ryan gets back. So this is fine, you're not risking your life. What was Genji doing? Oh man. I hadn't noticed you'd had a Genji previously. Because I do like that you made the choice of not holding for Nano Blade. You saw that if your Ryan would have been nanoed, you guys would have won that fight with the grab. So I like that. It's important to be dynamic with your ults. It's good to have Nano Blade, but it's even better to have won a fight. Okay. Yeah, but you and at this point, if you saw Genji do that, you guys should coalesce and say, let's time our Nano Blade together. That's a big ult.
I will keep you real.
Okay. So you can build your... Let me take a second to talk. Just gotta make sure my camera doesn't turn off. You can take a moment to coordinate with your Genji, because like what you should be saying is, hey Genji, let's blade and let's Nano Blade together, because he can build a little bit faster than you can if he just takes pot shots at him. So what you could be doing right now, you can build Nano somewhat slow. So just top off your tanks and look for big nades and big sleeps as well. Alright, that was a good barrier. Alright, you guys are even with Rhines. They've wasted Grav. If you guys can get out of this alive, you didn't. There's nothing you can do about that. But if you would have gotten out of that alive, you guys are even now. You guys are up 1. You're down your main healer, though. Watch what your team was doing. Oh, is that how you go up and down? Sweet. Alright, yeah, your team is... I'm going to assume they're playing slow because they don't have main heals. Yeah, your team was playing a weird, should I commit or should I not? They probably could have waited. I don't know. The others should have committed and died and see what happened, or not committed. But nothing you can do there besides call out. Main healer's not there. Commit or don't commit to this attack. Or use ults, don't use ults. And you'll need to dynamically figure out how the fight's going. Just watch the kill feed. Alright, you could have waited on that sleep. There's already just now burned both bubbles, so this would be the time to sleep. Like, just put... You don't have to put a ton of thought. You don't have to hold sleep for eons and be like, well, I didn't have the perfect sleep, but... You also can, you know, just put a little thought into it. Yeah, Genji's waiting for you to... I'm assuming you guys are coordinating because you said you were in comms. Don't be this aggressive. Oh, okay, nano him. That's unlucky. One thing with Genjis, with Nano Blade, especially in gold, because they're so hard to predict, just tell them, fly up when you want Blade. Press Z and fly up. Yeah, you may as well use it on Ryan. Oh, you guys are up 2. Yeah, you're still up 2. That was a pretty decent play. I probably would have... I wasn't really paying attention to how the fight was going, but depending on how the fight was going, I might have just saved for next fight and nanoed Ryan. But you guys won, so I can't say it was a bad play. Your Ryan is definitely... He can be aggressive when he needs to be, which is rare in gold. They're either too aggressive or too passive. And your Ryan, he's on the cusp of being really good at... He definitely is too passive at some points, but if you see you have a good Ryan like that, play with him. Like, you nanoed him. That was smart. That was a good play. The only consistent thing I'm noticing is just a little bit of weird positioning and just ineffective nades. And lack of quick scopes. Those 3 things, if you work on those, even if you don't, I think you could still get at least a plat. You're at least a plat player. But I'm going to speed this up. Love 2 CP. But if you improve on quick scoping, positioning, and nade placement, and understanding nade's arc, you will get better. You will improve. I guarantee you that. Or you'll climb, not improve. Cool. You have Soldier Genji, so you're trying to get Nano Blade again. Their Zarya is so weird. Yeah, good job taking pot shots at her. May as well be taking pot shots at the Torb right now. Nice, they're down 1. You guys can be pretty aggressive. Tell your team to be aggressive. Kill your... Ooh. Yeah, Mercy's your priority right there. I mean, that was a difficult shot for sure. You don't want to be aggressive right now at all. You have 60 HP. Oh, you're lucky that Hanzo didn't. Never mind. Putting that camera to work. Yeah. When you're at 60 HP and you have no nade. Why are we Lucio? Did you guys get picks? I didn't. I mean, you guys are... Oh, you have 10 seconds. Your Ryan still could have made it on. I would have stayed Anna. But, you know, it's whatever. It's the last 10 seconds. There's no point critiquing that. Okay. I wonder if this is a loss or a win. Okay, you guys have May Sim. So you guys need to hold close, or you will not get any value. So you need to be telling your team, okay, let's hold close. And just remember, you're the like when you're in gold and you're trying. If you want to climb, you need to be a leader. Tell your team, let's hold close. Or if you see their team doing something that is easy to that you can I'm trying to think of the word. Make use of. If they have Hanzo that's barely doing anything, tell your team like, let's swap to hit scan. Let's make use of this. All right. Okay. You guys seem to be holding close, which is good. You need to be looking for some aggressive nades here, because that wall is going to let you make some good ones. Yes. Oh, that's a timer. Oops, sorry about that. Cool, you guys are up 1. That was a good nade. Should have been hitting those shots. May can no longer be healed in cryo. Okay, you're not good. You should be calling out there's already has no purse. Ooh, tell him to focus your Lucio. Amen. There you go. Oh, man. That sucks. Oh! Oh, Moira orb. You guys are split right now. Call that out. Tell them you need to play together. You're the type of team that plays together. And you have Lucio too, so you can speed together. Use that speed. You guys can be jumping on... Yeah, they're separated right now. You guys need to all jump on one side and use that speed. You guys are flip-flopping. You need to rotate too. You need to rotate. You need to rotate left. You're at 60 health and you're on the right. Alright. Now you're in a decent spot. Alright, yeah, just let your cooldowns come back. I would let beat go away. Ooh, that was a weird pin. What'd you hit? Did it boost you? Yeah! I know you're going for your Ryan there. That was a weird wall. I don't think this is going to be a one fight. Yeah, not a lot you can do there. I mean, you're definitely going for Ryan there, but all I can say is, you know, try to hit Ryan. Oh, that was the end. Oh, that's just victory either way. Okay, cool. Alright, so let's... The main takeaways. Your nades, biggest takeaway. If you start hitting your nades and, like, getting better with the arc of your grenade, I promise you will be... Your team will be saying, nice purple, Anna, all the time. Because you are good at prioritizing healing versus healing your team. You are good, but you're not. I promise you, the majority of the time, you are not heal botting. There were certain times where you didn't. I mean, that happens to everyone. I like your prioritization of not trying to heal bot, but if you work on those nades and you have enemies purple and you're being aggressive as you are, you'll win. Number 2 is quick scoping. You need to be quick scoping more. You do not need to be zoomed into your scope as much as you are. It'll just help with your awareness. You'll know when Genjis are coming closer to you, when nanoed Ryans are charging into you, and you'll just be generally more aware. And you'll be able to hit shots that would have been really hard to hit when you have the binary hip fire zoomed in. Like if your Lucio's flying around and he's half health, you can quick scope. I'll actually I'll load up and show you how to quick scope, just in case. Or maybe you already do, but you just weren't doing it. I'll just real quick show you. That quick scoping, that's the second takeaway. Your third takeaway is positioning. I would say it's, of the 3, it's the one you need to work on the least. Like, you generally knew your positioning. Just work on your rotations and being more dynamic, because you tend to start in good spots, but you don't end in good spots sometimes. So quick scoping.
Never stop fighting for what you
That's a quick
believe
scope.
in.
You just hold, and then right as you see the first few frames of Anna's gun, that's when you shoot and unscope. And then just learn your nade angle. Like, you're nading like this, which, I mean, obviously isn't hitting things. But instead of just... I have to wait 7 seconds for it to come back. But instead of waiting, instead of trying to hit perfectly on the bot, if you want to hit both those bots, and you're over here... Ooh, sorry. You're over here, you could peek out, just throw it against the geometry. They're both purple. That's huge. And then you can use your aggressiveness, and instead of doing this and having to drag your scope all the way over, because I played a low sense, so I can't do that. You could be doing boom, 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 sleep,
Go to sleep.
hit the geometry. They're both purple. But those are your main things to work on. If you work on your quickscoping, your positioning, and your anti-nading, because you are going for those. I think most of the time you weren't just going for yellow nades, which is good. I think you'll be golden if you do all that. I think that's really it. Thank you for the VOD. I really appreciate it, and thank you for watching.